This is Christopher John Bjerknes. It is October 19th, 2025. I'm going to explain the Kabbalah behind the No Kings movement and how it represents empowering the ultimate king, David HaMelech, the King Messiah, son of David. The No Kings movement is juxtaposed to placing the king of the entire earth on his throne in Jerusalem to rule the whole world. They're saying no kings because there can be no king but King Messiah, son of David, ruling the entire earth. The No Kings movement is a open borders globalist movement setting about to fight the Zionists. The Zionists represent the Messiah, son of Joseph faction. All of this fits in perfectly with my insight that Donald Trump is Jesus Christ returned as Armilus, Jesus Antichrist. And of course, just as the Jews opposed Jesus Christ, and they said, crucify him, his blood be on us and upon our children. And just as the Jews said, no king but Caesar, the No Kings movement is fighting Messiah, son of Joseph, Armilus Trump. And this is the same script being played out on the world stage all over again. And don't miss the importance of the fact that we have two sides. We have the Zionist ethno-state Trumpists portraying Messiah, son of Joseph, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Jewish Messiah, son of Joseph, and Armilus Trump, the anus of the Jewish Messiah, son of Joseph, the Gentile Messiah, son of Joseph, as kings. Netanyahu is king of Israel. Trump is king of America, trying to become king of the world and then hand his throne as king of the world over to Messiah, son of David. But this Abel figure, like Cain slew Abel, Abel has to die so that Seth can replace him. So Trump has to be brought down eventually so that Messiah, son of David, can replace Messiah, son of Joseph, Armilus Trump, and the Jewish Messiah, son of Joseph, Benjamin Netanyahu. That's the plan. That's the plan that the Mashiach, Rebbe Menachem Mendel Schneerson, whispered into Benjamin Netanyahu's ear. He is the king. There can only be one king. And I'm going to be discussing all of that and proving all of that to you. I'm going to be going over how this relates to Jewish history in terms of in the Bible, the God of the Jews, Seth Typhon, did not want there to be any kings of the Israelites or kings of the Judahites, because that represented a betrayal of the king, the God of Israel's throne, divine throne. An earthly throne challenges the divine throne. That's another aspect of No Kings, and it's a very communist, antinomian aspect of that I'm going to be explaining. The Bible talked about how God warned them that if they had kings, the kings would be wicked, the way that Solomon was wicked, David was wicked, Saul was wicked, Ahab was wicked, Uzziah the king. We're all wicked, and kings have brought terrible catastrophes and calamities to the Jews, not least of which Bar Kokhba, who pretended to the throne of the world as Messiah, son of David, Jacob Frank and Shabbatai Tzevi also brought tremendous harm to the Jews. So they're very leery of the king, and they want to be kings themselves. They want to rob God of God's divine authority, and they want to rob every earthly monarch of their authority in imitation of God's authority, so that the individual can become a god, and so that the law is fulfilled. The gods are now dead. The gods are egregores. Disbelief in the gods makes them vanish, and then the individual can become his or her own god, ruling his or her own kingdom, and ultimately his or her own planet. That's also a part of the No Kings plan. So it is globalist, it is antinomian, it is anti-theistic on one level, on the communist aspect, but it is also completely global in fulfilling the mission for there to be just one king by destroying all Gentile kings, primarily by destroying Armilus, Trump, the Messiah, son of Joseph of the Gentile side, Armilus, who has to be sacrificed together with Benjamin Netanyahu as the Abel sacrifice by Cain, by the Edomites of the West, by Egypt, by Rome, has to be sacrificed so that Seth, the god Seth Typhon, can take Abel's place, so that Messiah, son of David, can take Messiah, son of Joseph's place and inherit the throne to the world. I'm also going to talk about Nick Fuentes's democratic centralism and long march through the institutions, and how, whether he is aware of it or not, he is taking a very Marxist approach. His dogmatic Christian nationalism is simply a new form of democratic centralism that Stalin already established. By pandering to Christians, they can get them to become blindly loyal because, like Trotsky, they pretend to represent the champion of God, and therefore they cannot be questioned. The other very Marxist aspect of Fuentes's strategy to defeat the enemy, I believe the man's a Judas goat and a Pied Piper, of this Rudy Duchka approach of the long march through the institutions, which derives from the Marxist Antonio Gramsci and Gramsci's, war of position. It goes back to Lenin and the concept of obtaining hegemony. Now, I am all for getting white people educated to the highest standards, but this idea of the long march through the institutions is an outdated and obsolete strategy to defeat the enemy, because we have now entered into an era in which technology changes everything. So we need to have a strategy of segregation and becoming the masters of the latest technology, and utilizing technology in combination with the power of a new state to defeat the enemy. These Marxist approaches of Nick Fuentes are doomed to fail, are already failing. You can see that everything is getting worse because we are taking no steps towards self-sovereignty, towards self-governance, towards establishing our own segregated nations. And we are not envisioning how the future is going to unfold with this new technology and how society will inevitably be restructured. There will be a very different form of economy in the near future, a very different form of the state. And the enemy is pushing all of that towards this Marxist vision of the state controlling and owning all property, and the proletariat being the dictator, but actually being the slave of the state, and the state being controlled by the enemy. So I'm going to get into all of that and how there are much better strategies to what Mr. Fuentes is proposing with his Christian nationalist democratic centralism and his Groyper long march through the institutions. And again, I'm not poo-pooing the idea of encouraging people to take over the institutions as best they can. But that is a very long-term strategy, which is increasingly becoming obsoleted by artificial intelligence and by robots. Again, I'm going to discuss all of that. And if you want to see my analysis and my unique insights in all the world, I was the one who said that Trump is the Messiah, son of Joseph. I was the one who said he is armless. I was the one who said that they are portraying America and the West as the Christian, Roman, Amalekite, Edomite empire, which they are slated to completely annihilate and exterminate. Everything I've said has been vindicated. I have changed the world with all of that analysis, just as I changed the world by exposing Albert Einstein as a career plagiarist, by exposing the fact that the enemy was behind the Jewish genocide of Armenian Christians, by exposing that Adolf Hitler was a Bolshevik and a Zionist, by exposing what Amalek means, what Edom means. I did all of that in 2006. I have now exposed that Samael is Osiris, and I'm going to change the world with that as well. So if you want to see my world-changing analysis on the Kabbalah of the King and the No Kings, please do get a paid subscription to CJBbooks.substack.com. And please check out my new book, Satan's Chosen People. You can find links to that, as well as links to how to contribute to my work at CJBbooks.com. And I'm now going to head over to my paid subscribers and provide you with my unique and history-changing insights on all of this. So this cry